Hello, everyone. This is Leanne at the National Weather Service in Missoula. I'll be bringing you your planning briefing with the weather and impacts for the next several days. So let's get started. So, right off the bat, I need to give everyone the reminder that there is no radar data through August 9th due to scheduled maintenance. So, you'll not be able to see anything from KMSX radar. We are utilizing satellite and neighboring radars for as best as we can, anyway. But this maintenance is scheduled now through August 9th due to some setbacks that they've had. So please keep that in mind as we go forward. Excuse me. And unfortunately, to go with no radar data, we're going to have a daily potential for thunderstorm development across western Montana and north central Idaho. So forecasting is going to be even more challenging than it is anyway in this area. But this is what we're looking at for the next few days. This is our weather threat matrix highlighting the impacts that we're expecting in the different locations across our county warning area. And what we see here is there is a high potential for those thunderstorms and associated impacts, especially through west central Montana, the Bitterroot, and the southwest Montana zones. And we are pretty moist in the atmosphere. There's going to be a lot of available moisture, so we are looking at a heavy rain potential throughout most of this week, in addition to just generally unstable conditions and the threat for thunderstorms. Now, the threat will kind of meander depending on the area throughout the week. Northwest Montana seems to have the lowest threat for thunderstorms early in the week, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then those chances do increase throughout the latter half of the week. And then other areas are pretty high for the threat early in the week and then taper off towards the end of the week. So it's going to be a challenging week with no radar data. So here's our general weather pattern and what's driving all of these thunderstorms each and every day. We've got a low pressure system hanging off the coast of British Columbia, and it's going to pretty much just stay there or at least track very little eastward during this time. And we've got a high pressure over the Midwest and South that is actually going to retrograde back west into our area. And we're going to be in that pinched area in the middle where the moisture and energy is coming off the Pacific and directly over the Northern Rockies through southwesterly flow. And that's just a wonderful pattern for us to kind of see daily thunderstorms, a lot of unstable conditions, and a lot of cloud cover, and honestly, some moisture with all of these thunderstorms that we see. So here's our probability of lightning for today, Sunday afternoon. You can see it's really hitting the Bitterroot into southwest Montana, portions of west central Montana, central Idaho, and along the Continental Divide. Now, please pause these slides so you can, take this in at your own speed, but I'm going to keep going for the sake of time. This is our Monday afternoon and evening probability of thunder. And then this is Tuesday afternoon and evening. And it doesn't really change too much. You can see that in the Kootenai and north central, the panhandle of Idaho, they don't really have a whole lot of chances for the first half of the week. But as we get past Wednesday, Thursday, Friday timeframe, they do increase, whereas southern areas, like we'll say south of I-90, those start to decrease in chances. I don't have graphics for that, but that's the general pattern. Here's our minimum relative humidity forecast Monday through Friday. Like I said, there's a lot of places that are pretty dry, a lot of places that are not. Hopefully we get some rain to keep things behaving well enough, but we are pretty dry in the teens in a lot of places, low 20s, mid 20s, that sort of thing. Then as we get to the max RH forecast, the overnight, you can see a lot of oranges in here that we have really poor humidity recoveries expected in a lot of locations. And here's our max temperature forecast. Overall, things are pretty seasonable for this time of year. Highs in the 80s and 90s is pretty standard for this time of year. Down in Orofino in the Camas Prairie, central Idaho area, start to see those 90s and 100s, but again, that's pretty normal for this time of year. And what are we looking at for the first week of August? Well, we're going to stay above normal for precipitation because we're going to stay in that track where the moisture tracks right over the Northern Rockies. But our temperatures are going to be near normal to slightly above normal depending on where you're at. Overall, not bad for late July into early August to have this kind of threat for above normal precipitation, but we'll take it. And that's the long and short of it. We will see you on our next scheduled briefing Thursday, July 31st. And again, Just a reminder, no KMSX radar through August 9th. Thanks so much for watching.